Yeah.
Well, don't ask me why we don't have sound.
I haven't touched
Jeez, oh
anything.
man.
Not my fault. Still can't hear it, Joe.
Not hearing anything.
No music.
Well,
Well, we'll just start without. It's
well,
okay.
it's over
People can
anyways.
imagine. Let's just
No,
imagine.
I got too much equipment here. Good evening and welcome to our show. My name's Joe in Norway. I'll be your cook this evening. I'm joined by Ann Lee, a retired college professor and a community member at the Daily Coast, a member of the National Council of Independent Scholars, and is a contributor to the book, The Political Art, Making the Nation of Culture. Hey there, Ann. We
Hey,
have,
Joe. Hey,
we got
Joe.
we got you spotlighted.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Oh, cool. Let me get my notes here.
What's for supper? Looks like mushrooms.
Well, more found fungi from the forest floor. I thought, well, I'm still soggy from this afternoon. It's been pissing down, but we've managed to harvest some more mushrooms. And what I was going to make last week, sop pate,
Sop.
mushroom pate, sop. Sop is mushroom
Sopa.
in sop.
Norwegian. Norge.
So I made mushroom pate last week after the show,
Yum.
and we're almost. The family is just real. I mean, you would imagine that they're just up, but technically, it's mostly me. It's almost finished. I've been using it mainly as pesto or mushroom pesto sauce. Basically, it's really nice and creamy.
Hmm. They haven't pestered you
I
for
thought I'd
making a terrine or
yeah.
something?
No, we will just we'll crush the walnuts, saute the mushrooms, blend them up, and with a blender on a stick, and the moth beans I've got in the middle here, little extra protein. I've cooked up some gelatinous moth beans, so these will give a little bit of body, a little bit of
What?
protein, a little bit of earthiness, a little extra earthiness from the nuts and the forest goodies. So yeah, it's really simple, straightforward pate, and sauteed the mushrooms and garlic and shallot, and maybe thyme or rosemary or some spices, whatever I see upstairs here, and serve it on a slice of bread like we do in Norway. Um, just a open-faced sandwich with pate and some kind of toppings on it, and should be good to go. But
Yum.
yeah, so we've got let's see what we got here. We've got Craterellus tubiformis, otherwise known as uh, yellow feet or Troktkantarell in Norwegian, or winter chanterelle. They
Mm.
were very tiny, so these are about 5 weeks old now, and they've
Mm.
gone from. Let me see if I can. Oh, let's see what we got here. Oh, we got a few
Ah!
more. Sorry, I don't mean to shock you. So they,
Fungus among us.
yes, indeed. So we have some. This is I thought these were how big they got, more or less, but apparently they're just getting bigger and bigger. So this is the more fully developed one. So they get a funnel, more pronounced funnel in terms of identification, and they've got the fake gills
Mm.
underneath, and they end right about the top there. And then we've got our Hedonium rapandum, or the pig sop,
Mm.
otherwise known as the wood hedgehog or hedgehog mushroom,
Mm.
noticeable by these funky little velvety spines that dangle. You can, if you've got time, you can remove them, um, and the bugs. I thought I washed that one off.
Mm.
So
They
yeah,
won't eat
so
much.
no, I'll be just chopping these up into a duxelle. I'll actually be making two dishes, but first we'll make a duxelle, like a French chopped
Hmm.
mushroom dish, which
Hmm.
you can, let's see where I got them. You can make little, so these are ice cube style
Cute.
mushrooms. So just throw these and freeze them, throw them in a pot. So instead of making pate, you could chop up your mushrooms and saute them, freeze them
Yes.
like this. And you got some handy little flavor umami bombs. But just at the top of the show here, I really, really need to apologize again on behalf of the Norwegian government and Norwegian people. As a Norwegian, fellow Norwegian, I'm afraid we've done it again, nominating um, well, I guess the Margaret Thatcher of Venezuela, possibly the Iron Lady of
I don't
Venezuela,
know.
neoliberal. I mean, she's fighting for democracy, but
Yeah,
has
sure.
has quite a bit of support from. Let's see, she's Maria Corina Machado has been quite criticized for her strong support of U.S. interventionist policy, particularly those under the Trump administration, which some critics argue exacerbates Venezuela's humanitarian crisis.
Hmm.
One thing I do not understand, and the Nobel Committee on these things, nominating her at this moment when we've got the US trying to trigger some kind of a false flag, or what's the trigger in North Viet, the Tonkin, Gulf of Tonkin type incident,
Yes,
so that they
yes. A
can.
Tonkin Gulf
I mean,
incident.
that's
Yes.
they're so obviously trying to start a war or an excuse to be able to bomb. This this nomination by the Nobel Committee gives the U.S. more fodder and justification. Oh yes, even the Nobel Committee endorses this person fighting for human rights in Venezuela, and therefore our intervention is going to be justified and glorious. Just unacceptable. Typical, but
Well, it is
you'll
typical.
have that, won't you?
It is typical.
The other thing was I wanted to mention about the Peace Prize, or not the Peace Prize. Trump didn't get the Peace Prize. Maybe next year. Uh, Hopefully, we won't get sanctioned too heavily. Hopefully, this little help with the Venezuelans will um, abide him. Oh, I think I lost my note. Oh, apparently, thought this was amusing with Trump regarding the peace plan. He, him and Bibi were talking on the phone, and apparently, uh, Bibi told Trump, "This is nothing to celebrate, and it doesn't mean anything." Apparently, so some official told Axios, and Trump fired back and said, "I'm not sure if I've got the his accent right. I don't know why you're always so fucking negative. This is a win. Take it."
It's not the first time he's said it, but that has made the rounds. That's quite true.
and and I mean, this is like the fundamental difference between him being totally fucking clueless about the machinations of most operators in the world. He just wants this almost this kind of naive
Hmm.
deal, superficial deal, kind of wheeling and dealing bullshit.
Yep.
When Bibi is just all about the complete eradication of the native population from Palestine. That
Oh
is
yeah.
it.
Oh yeah.
And it's just, oh, man. But I'm sure you've got better news than
No,
I
no, I have the same news.
mentioned. Oh,
On on your remarks, it is pretty clear that Trump is historically ignorant or clueless, and some of us in tech have been listening to the People's Forum stuff, Rashid Khalidi's course on the history of Palestine to the present, and it's been very illuminating because once you sort of see the whole history, you suddenly realize. How naive someone like Trump is. I think if Trump's truly got someone to explain in, maybe even simple PowerPoint terms, the history of Palestine, I think Trump might actually remember to, note that it is a genocide. Um, Zonan, the candidate for mayor of New York, made a comment about that on the 7th, on the anniversary of the attack, and he distinguished between the horrible massacre on that day, but also the subsequent genocide. And yes, he used the G word, and I know that some conservative folks might have a negative sense about that, but the facts are there, even if it's not 60,000, 68,000 now. Even if it's only half that, it's still a damn genocide. We're in that territory, right? The ones the Armenians, worry about, relative to the Turks. So it's not. There's no way he gets out of this, as far as I can tell. Actually, someone's going to probably get him after whatever when the dust settles. But anyway, uh, that's not my final comment, but you would think that Trump understood. Well, probably he never gets any opinions from Kushner. Kushner probably never tells him what he really thinks about stuff. So that's kind of the background against that. Oh, all right. Now back to Trump said today in his usual Oval Office rambling. He said, quote, "The person who actually got the Nobel Prize called today, called me and said, 'I'm accepting this in honor of you because you really deserved it.'" A really nice thing to do. I didn't
oh,
say, "Then give it to me," though. That's what the whole, quote from Trump is. In other words, and Trump is quite, transparent
I
in that
take
sense.
back everything I said.
Well, there's
It was a little
always
all premature. She sounds like fine lady.
yes. I mean, that we know from without going into a heavy duty speech act analysis, but the fact is, we know he really did want to win the damn thing. And,
Mm.
what's her name, Mikado, sucked up to him. Other things that she said was she thought that it was visionary to bomb ships, boats, actually. They're not ships, they're
Ah,
boats in the
her
Caribbean.
own citizen.
Yes. Or bombing Colombians. I think, she can get out of that by saying, well, it wasn't Venezuelans, it was Colombians that got bombed, at least in the latest one that got hit. Um, the fact is, journalism's not tracking down. They've tracked down some of the folks who actually connected some of these boats, but it hasn't got enough play. People actually have to talk to, a couple of families and really actually know who was on the damn boats and what was on the boats before they got hit with missiles. In each instance, they were missiles. And we know, of course, that there's a carrier group sitting or whatever, and there's an assault group. There's a marine amphibious group sitting out there. And the reality, of course, will be if they really want to do a coup, it'll be something that gets something that'll look like the last coup attempt, which occurred in the first Trump administration, when Juan Guaido tried to, and it was a coup. It was supposed to be a military coup. It's just that the military chickened out at the last moment. They're the taco folks in that particular context. Um, and I think they had it all set up, but I think, well, they didn't have it completely set up, but because I think they hadn't settled on how much money the military was going to get out of it, and a couple of people chickened out, and they couldn't do it. Now maybe they'll do it this time if you have a U.S. Marine, amphibious force, surround the presidential palace or something, whatever. I think that's probably what it's going to look like. I mean, it's not going to be an invasion. It'll just simply be another coup. And, in this particular version of it, and yes, I'm not making this out of, whole cloth. There's a couple of analyses that suggest that the optimal way to take over Venezuela is essentially to support some sort of coup. And Mikado will be, some perhaps she will be the new, you know, president, but it could be simply Juan Guaido, tanned, rested, ready to return, who might wind up for it. And which sounds right, but we'll see. Um,
What is their relation? I'm not
I don't
familiar with
know. I think that
Venezuelan
she's to
politics.
the I think she's to the right of Guaido, but
Oh, really?
whatever.
Oh,
But that's just me. I don't know very much about Venezuelan politics, but I do know that they had a pretty good plan the first time. They took over the airport. They had enough kind of folks in the street doing stupid things, and then at some moment the military decided, screw it, we don't have enough people, or we don't have enough, or else there were military folks who didn't quite go along with it, and they have to sort of ensure that that's going to happen whenever you have a military coup, which is what Trump is doing with our own military, right? So if he does something coup-like in this country, maybe you'll have the Qatari Air Force support it, because that was the latest today, is that the Qatari.
before you go in, I just want to show
Oh,
you uh, if you want to have a less funky mushroom, you can, if you got the hedgehogs here, you can just take the back of a knife and scrape off the spines like that. It's a little bit more elegant, a little less rustic dish then. But you can eat them, but it is a bit like having a little bit of sawdust in your food.
oh, it has that a sawdust-like texture. That's unfortunate.
Sort of.
Yeah,
It's
well,
not too bad.
interesting.
I haven't been bothered. This is the first time I'm doing it for a dish this year, so
Yeah,
we'll see if there's any difference.
that's good. Interesting. Okie dokie. Um, yeah, speaking of funk, the Qataris are going to have some sort of Air Force presence in Idaho. It's really where you want to have more brown people, right? In Idaho. It's just weird. I mean, I'm sure it has an economic significance. In other words, they'll have to build facilities, and so that throws it into infrastructure money. And so technically, Biden will have been, tasked. I'm sure there's infrastructure money for Idaho, and instead of going to something for Idahoans from potato folks, it'll go to the Qataris to build that airport or airstrip. So this is not unusual on the one hand. On the other hand, we don't really have a basing for other countries in the United States. I mean, there isn't any autonomous thing that sits on any, I mean, we do lots of joint things and we train, air forces, the Saudi Air Force that we train, blah, 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 but this is a little bit further now. So it's going to be you know, and it's part of course, the $1 billion refitting of a Qatari family 747-8, I think, which will be the new Air Force One, just because Trump doesn't like the regular Air Force One, which would have lasted until the two that are already being built would be ready. So this will be sort of interesting. I mean, it's just another bit of excess. But
Not enough
just
marble pilasters in there.
well,
Mm.
it has a staircase that, you would never put in a military jet. So I think that's the deal. It's got a better bedroom. If you look at some of the images of it, it's very nice. It's very luxurious. But the fact is, you got to retrofit stuff in there. And I'm not sure whether it's going to be completely swept for security things. But anyway, that's another story. I'm sure they're going over it with a fine-tooth comb. There's probably most of the money is being spent sweeping it. But anyway, that's the front end of today's news in the excess. And yes, I'm going to talk about the entire week, but the latest thing that just happened a couple of hours ago is an announcement and a little thing. It's why Trump was in the Oval Office. And he loved, not unlike Schicklgruber, he loves models. And so they had a model today of a triumphal arch. It goes back to Trajan. The triumphal arches were important for imperial
Oh,
nations.
saw many of those on our trip last year.
Indeed, and it's because the Romans came into a place and we conquered you, and we got to show that we conquered you. And the best example of that is we're going to build this arch that we're going to march our military through. Well, across from the Lincoln Memorial across the river from the Lincoln Memorial, and they're going to have a little roadway for it, I think, is going to be built a triumphal arch, a Trump triumphal arch on the
You can't
same
be fucking kidding
design.
me. No way.
No, it's there. They brought in a
Oh,
model and
jeez.
everything. Damn thing is
Ouch.
supposed to be taller than the Lincoln Monument. Just like it's going to
Ah,
take your attention away from the effing ballroom, which is twice the size of the White House itself that's going in. So you're not going to pay attention to the ballroom anymore. You're going to worry about the stupid arch, which it looks and probably has the same dumb architect who did the ballroom, who's an expert at imitating, historical things. So probably they're going to have this same idiot do it. I mean, all he does is design churches, contemporary churches, modern churches, but they don't look for that modern. They're kind of reproduction. It's like 19th century neoclassical stuff all over again. And sort of the height of neoclassical would be to build an effing triumphal arch on the model of Trajan and blah blah,
I mean, I think we
Hadrian.
saw no less than six Hadrian triumphal arches through Turkey and Greece.
Oh, Jesus. Wherever the Romans were, if it was a big enough city, you plop down a
Mhm.
stupid arch. Or at least you hint at it in the arch to the city. There's always a replication of, anyway.
Mhm.
That's what's happening. I want to see more about it. But of course, Trump not only had the little model, sort of a site model, with the little things on it and the river and stuff, but they actually made him a little model that he could put in his hands. So he's, I'm sure there's going to be a photo of him fondling the damn triumphal arch in his little paws, his tiny hands. So we'll see. That's today's wackiness. And of course, the reason why they're having it, of course, is to offset from anything else. Notably, still, it's about the Epstein files. I mean, it's about the damn everything here is about the Epstein files. The Nobel Prize thing was to, it was just the story is that the actually was a deal in place before Biden left. And it essentially looks like, although it didn't have quite as many points, the current one has 20 points. I think the other one had 11 points or something. But the deal is it's pretty much the same model. You have an exchange of prisoners, you have withdrawals, you have certain other things. Now, what it doesn't have is what Trump insisted on, which was why you had all this renegotiation and accelerated bombing again in Gaza. Trump had other things he wanted to do. He wanted to set up for, whatever, his resort thing, and it gave time for the Israelis to continue to segregate the Gaza. They've done it twice now. It's now in three parts or something. So anyway, all of that kind of crap happened during the 7 months that have been screwing around with this, but essentially the ceasefire plan, which will supportedly be signed on Sunday or Monday with the release of, yes, all the hostages. And that could get all screwed up, but and a lot of us are relieved, at least all the remains and all the folks who have unfortunately perished, but also the live folks of which there are what, 28, 48, something, they'll all get returned. Now, the fact is, not all are being returned, and there's a whole bunch of other stories that go underneath it. There's a bunch of folks who are still in prison that should have been released, or that the Hamas demanded to be released and should be released. Actually, they're just political prisoners. But there's all kinds of other stuff. So there's going to be big ceremonies because Trump spent the last couple of days, quote unquote, informing families that their loved ones are going to return one way or the other. And so there's that. A lot of hoopla, but the reason why he was doing it in the last couple of days was because he was front-ending a hope for that Nobel Prize again. And unfortunately, he didn't get it. So the hell with him. And uh, uh,
You got the
you know,
next best thing.
well, he has the home game or was something. Keith Olbermann talked about, congratulated Trump on getting the home version of the game at home. But anyway, so that was the last 48 hours or so has been filled with stupid stuff like that, and it's really stupid. I mean, the Triumphal Arch. Now the fact is, we're in day what, number 12 of the shutdown, or the 11th day of the shutdown, and the federal shutdown has affected. Mainly things you might spend a little, fall afternoon going to the nice national park. You can't do it anymore. And so that's going on. And then paychecks are coming or need to be coming soon, particularly for example, there are a bunch of National Guard people, who have actually been not necessarily assigned to American cities, but who are actually going to someplace. Gaza. In fact, I think there's Gaza, but they're not getting paid sure because of the shutdown. So that's, but Trump doesn't care about that, right? And yet, I'm waiting for the press to ask him about these, which I really would hope that they would just simply ask normal questions. There's these National Guard people who are not necessarily going into the cities, but are going to whatever. And what's that going to be like? And of course, I assume the ones that are going now, the Texas ones that are in Illinois, because they're supposed to run around Chicago and, whatever, do things that are very terrible. Every day there's a stupid story. Yesterday there was a woman waiting for her kids at the local middle school or elementary school, and the ICE people came in and grabbed her. Fortunately,
It's
she's back with her
horrendous.
family, but the she was in, she's in her damn minivan waiting to pick up her kids, and the ICE guys come in and seize her before she gets her kids, right? So you're going, what the hell? I
Threw
mean,
her
there have
to
been
the
uglier
ground.
ones. Oh, yes, yes, yes. I mean, throwing to the ground, I think is pretty much de rigueur now.
Mm.
Um, I mean, they sort of can't do anything and pound on women, but at some point they're going to pound on women, and I think that that's going to be the next step. They're pounding on men, certainly, but I think equal time.
Mhm.
Uh, it anyway. Yeah, stuff's happening. There's
And do you
I
think
think
there's
we're
a,
still in.
and I was just wondering, do you think there's a racial component to this
Oh, oh
ice
my.
business?
Yes. It does seem like it. But it's weirder than that. I mean, it is weirder than that. But it is, yes, about
Yes.
black and brown people being oppressed. Um, and and it's lookism. They're mainly getting easy targets, right? Somebody who is clearly
Mm.
not fully documented, who happens to have been here X number of years, and they've just been sitting in a list somewhere, and they suddenly decide, okay, well, there's the list. We'll just go down and send some guys, and they get to mask up and do a little cosplay thing and, hurt people. That's pretty much the deal. So that's happening, although there are federal injunctions that are going to happen probably soon, maybe today, maybe Monday or whatever, to stop at least having federal troops. But that hasn't stopped ICE from send and F portions of the FBI are being sent to support ICE and blah blah blah. You have all those things. So that's what the week has been. Lots of ICE raids or whatever you want to call them. They just grab people. And, it's surprising. And fortunately, most people have cell phones. So you have lots of weird video of people being grabbed by masked people. There was at least one incident of fake people who were pretending to be ICE again this week. So there was another one of those things. Um, Now, the big issue, of course, is, they're all supposed to be on fire. I mean, Portland is supposed to be inflamed. And as I sort of mentioned at the beginning of the week, they've been showing images from 2020 in Portland and also images of South American riots. But they've been referring to them as American riots, but they aren't. They're just police actions controlling crowds and people throwing gas bombs and all kinds of other stuff. But the Oregon GOP decided they would make a little video that has cobbled together Ecuadorian and Colombian and Chilean riots. And I think they showed it to Trump. And so Trump, in his little brain, thinks, oh man,
Mm.
Portland's on fire. And anyone who actually has a brain knows that it's not on fire. There are a bunch of people, some of whom are in inflatable mascot cosplay costumes. And, so you've got frogs and unicorns and a bunch of other things, having
Freaky out
dance
there.
parties near the ice. It's freaky. It's freaky. There's a guy,
So
they talked a little bit
hostile
more
as
about him
well.
because oh, absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. And there's been the photo op with Christy Noam on top of the ice building, staring at, a very modest little crowd, and the guy in the chicken suit. The guy in the chicken suit is a graduate student at Oregon State University. He's an econ undergraduate major he's a grad student in econ, and he's just in a chicken suit because he needs to do the protest thing, and so I assume, he's reading game theory books while he's doing his chicken thing. And so he's a guy in a chicken suit who's been there, and he hasn't been pummeled yet or, sprayed with tear gas or whatever. But they're going to do it. At some moment, they're going to probably mess with him just because they want to. And there's nobody else out. There are very few people in front of the ice facility. This weekend, it could be different, things are coming up. There's a No Kings demo that's coming up next weekend, I think. And
Oh,
that,
I heard that this was called the Hate America Day. Hate America.
oh, oh, that's what it's called. I'll have to
Mm.
put that down on my calendar. It's just stupid crap is happening. It was worse to see Christy Noem in her, tactical gear overlooking a modest little group of people who have
They're all just
signs,
they're all just fucking
you
cosplayers.
know. It's just absurd. But anyway, that happened. She had to do that because there's a 14-day, I think, temporary restraining order against bringing the Texas National Guard, and that's been expanded to a national restraining order, I think, on all National Guards right now. That's kind of, I think that's happened, that you can't take the Texas National Guard and invade Portland, Oregon, and et cetera. And I don't know how that applies, but I assume it's going to apply to the Texas National Guard that's in Illinois right now. Now, I think there could be absurd ways to approach this problem. The Rhode Island National Guard, because I think it has a National Guard, should be called to go somewhere, which I find amusing, but I'm probably the only person who thinks that's amusing. Um, or the Delaware National Guard. Anyway, uh, so that's happening. It's been an interesting week. I mean, just they stopped some poor guy. He's a tenured professor at Rutgers. He's a history professor. Well, Spanish history. I think he's in the Spanish department, but he's a Spanish historian, and his interest is, of course, in kind of the interesting political framework of Spanish Civil War, anarchism, and that kind of stuff. Well, after getting death threats because he made some comment, of course, a public comment on something or other, perhaps Palestine related, but he's a tenured professor, so they really can't do much to him, although they probably will try. But he's been getting death threats and doxxed and a bunch of other things, so he decided, well, screw this, and it's the almost the middle of the semester, so I'm just gonna flee the country, go to Spain, and do the rest of the course, at least this term and the next term, I think, remotely, which then there's precedent for it, and it's not such a bad deal. And if he is actually a good teacher, he should be able to do it without much problem. I've heard that he's a good teacher. I mean, he had to
I
be if he
believe
got the tenure.
I believe you're referring to Dr. Antifa.
Yes, Doctor. They've
He
called him
wrote
Doctor Antifa.
his research focused on anti-fascist movements and
A-
organization,
Absolutely.
organizing for anti-fascist
Well, he has a
activists.
2017 guidebook on anti-fascism, available online and everywhere. So, yeah, he is Dr. Antifa. And well, anyway, he was trying to get out of the country last night or night before last, and they held him up. Oh, now why did they hold him up? He had all his documents in line, and the plane tickets and everything got past TSA, and then they suddenly pulled the tickets. They pulled his reservation. So he's at the they just there's maximum screwing with somebody. He's at the airport. He's got his family. He's got kids. And they just pulled it. They wouldn't let him on the plane and blah 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 blah. So 24 hours later he gets to leave. So last night, I think he was in the air and going to Spain. I hope he makes it and has a decent, sabbatical or whatever while he's in Spain. And I mean, it's kind of cool because he gets to, go to the place he does a lot of research in, and because he does stuff on the Spanish Civil War and stuff like that. So cool stuff. And if I were him, I would say, well, I'm going to study Republicans in Spain and 1930 Republicans, but Republicans nonetheless, and that would, satisfy the idiots in, TSA, CBP, et cetera. Anyway, so
Not
that
exactly
happened.
known for dotting their I's and crossing their T's.
Well, if they're not well read, you could say, I'm studying Republicans in Spain. You should be in
Yeah.
favor of this, whatever. Anyway, so that happened.
Oh, before you move on, let me just catch
Yeah,
you up. So we've created the duxas, the chopped up mushrooms. So you can, if you want, you could just freeze this into little small uh, portions, and then have them for soups, stews, what have you. But we're
yum,
going to generate a pate here with this immersion blender. I'm gonna blend these up, add some of the moth beans, which are kind of like a lentil, or like mung dal, sort of. They're a bit more earthy.
Like
And
mung
then I'll
beans,
add,
right?
uh, yeah, yeah. And I'll add the chopped, the ground walnuts later. Just want to get this on record in case I have to refer to this with my kids. I've added no extra umami. I restrain myself from the use of MSG. I've added more acid by way of verjuice, and I'll puree it more, except for the walnuts, because we don't want to make walnut butter. We're gonna have a little chunky bits from the walnut to
Texture, texture.
simulate. This will be the vegetarian gristle. So
There
this
we
one
go.
has porky bits.
Yeah, yeah. Is everyone worrying about their blood pressure with the MSG or something? Anyway,
It was too much. I think everybody's over mushrooms for the past 2 months, obviously, day in, day out. But the umami from the mushrooms is just, it's like mushroom on mushroom. It's just so intense, the mushroom flavor, especially with these ones. These are really the uh,
strong.
the
Yes.
winter chanterelles are just incredible. Uh,
Yum, 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 yum. Yeah. Well, we're almost to the time where we're going to talk about the schedule. But let me just say that Ukraine is continuing. Perhaps Trump will work on Ukraine next, but the fact of the matter is, I think he's going to capitulate. He's trying to get Zelensky to capitulate. In fact, Zelensky is his major. He's almost willing to give up, but only if the U.S. promises that they're going to give him an unlimited supply of Tomahawk cruise missiles, which I think that's an easy thing for Trump to sign off on, but he probably won't, and that's unfortunate. But there'll be other things to worry about. Um,
Especially since you're going to have to buy launchers of some kind.
oh yes,
It's
oh yes, it's about
gonna need
launchers.
to upsell.
All right, it's about launchers. Ultimately, it's about launchers, as is everything. But I think a lot of standards is occurring. There's a brand new anti-drone weapon. They're kind of thin little missiles. They're kind of like the what the Israelis use in their Iron Dome. They're kind of like big, huge shotgun shells, and they're designed to track and blow up
Like
incoming
scatter
drones.
shot.
So that Yes,
Mm.
it's got the explosive and it's surrounded with little ball bearings or whatever it is, and it's being made in Belgium, I think. Thulis is making the weapons. Um, they're important in general. I mean, it's a real profit center because if anyone who comes up with a decent anti-drone weapon is going to make a fair amount of money for the next decade. Um, so that's interesting. Not profound, of course, but at least it's a decent defensive weapon. And yes, of course, flamingos are available. But if you have Tomahawk missiles, they've been around for so long and upgraded to, they're still pretty lethal. It'll be very interesting, and perhaps Putin will give up, but he probably won't. And I won't go into the long details of other disinformation, other stupidity but and I think he was old enough, so maybe it was just retirement. But the head of Pravda jumped out a window, seven-story window, a couple of days ago. So people are still being defenestrated. Well, some people are being defenestrated. Whether they did it themselves or somebody else is unclear, as is usual in Russia. But that happened. So truth went out the window. Yes, indeed. Let's see what else. It's been a busy week, as I said. Other things happened. We're in a shutdown. Trump is still trying to on the local stuff, Trump is still trying to persecute people that he thinks are his enemies. So Letitia James is going to get, something's going to happen there. I think she's going to get indicted. Uh, Bolton is getting indicted, I think, or they've done something where they're going to get him into court, and in the next couple of days they're going to, do what they're going to do because supposedly he held on to classified documents, and Well, you'd think after 10 years, he would have given up the documents or at least been warned and blah, blah, blah. But of course not. They're just screwing with him, just like they're screwing with Comey, and who fortunately got to the courtroom without having to have quote unquote burly feds accompanying him because that's what they wanted. They wanted the photo op of James Comey being uh, accompanied
Marched.
by large federal officers of one kind or another, U.S. Marshals or whatever. But that didn't happen. There's no photos of burly, because the order was actually to get burly guys to drag him in. And but anyway, he managed two counts, and it's probably most people have said, most legal experts seem to say that it's not even going to get farther than going to court whenever it is and getting it thrown out. So, will Trump have gotten what his little jollies out of it? I don't know. There's that, and he's trying to do literally the same thing with an even more trivial case of mortgage fraud, of which three people in the cabinet are actually have exposure on, but none of them are going to get, hauled into court. But Tish James, the Attorney General of New York, just revenge. Trump's trying to nail her in that context. So that's happening. And many other stupid things are happening, of course. Governor Newsom in California is still screwing with Trump. Of interest to me, anyway, is that they actually caught the arsonist for one of the Palisades fires in California. And it was actually an arsonist. And with all due respect, a significant number, well, no, I don't want to overstate it, but there are a lot more arsonists out there who need to be captured. And I think that that's an important issue because I think there are a couple of other major conflagrations in California during the wildfire season that were um, not natural in terms of who set them. So that's another issue. It's been a busy week, but we're up to talking about the schedule. And as usual, I can't remember a damn thing that's going to happen, but I'm going to while I'm trying to figure this out. John, are you there? Can you talk about Night Gallery?
Yes, tonight on Night Gallery, we have an episode called The Dark Boy.
Ooh,
And I think people will like it. Um, it stars, um, what does it star? I can't think of her name at the moment. Elizabeth,
Elizabeth Hartman,
thank you.
there we go.
Mary
Gail
Hartman.
Sondegard.
Gail Sondegard. Yes. All right, Suzanne is here.
Ah, God.
One of those actors was nominated for an Academy Award, and the other won an Academy Award.
Cool.
So, yes, and on Sunday, you want me to talk about Sunday?
Please, the Star Trek Next
Oh, I don't
Generation.
know. Didn't we agree on doing it in order last week? Or we're doing that out of time sequencing again? Oh Lord.
Oh
Uh,
no, it goes Saturday, Tuesday, Monday, Sunday, apparently.
What? Say what?
But last week, you went from Saturday to Tuesday to Wednesday and
Oh
Sunday.
Lord. What day was it?
All
What
over
day
the
is it
bloody
again?
map.
Let's talk about
Chronology,
Saturday
damn it.
first, maybe. Fuck. Jesus.
Chronology.
Bloody hell.
who's showing something on Saturday?
Is
Believe
Susanna showing something? I can't remember.
Travis will be showing
Travis.
an
Travis is
LBJ
doing
film.
Poker Face tonight, right after Night Gallery. So please stick
And
around, folks.
he is showing a film Saturday for Saturday Night Theater, 7 p.m. Eastern. I forgot the title, but it's with Brian somebody.
Cranston. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Take
Oh,
it. And it's a dramatic bio of Lyndon Johnson.
I believe
Oh,
it's called All the Way.
There you go.
excellent. Should be good.
Oh,
Uh,
well, before that, then I'll be playing Alan Partridge's last episode
Excellent.
of the last series,
Excellent.
and maybe some of the first episodes of the first ever Alan Partridge. You never know.
Indeed. When do you want to start that? At 5 Eastern time on Saturday,
Yeah,
Lane?
something like that. Before, yeah, that'll do. That'll do.
Alrighty. Let me remind you, yes, there will be weekly marks at 2 on Saturday, and on Sunday. Let's see. So now we're on Sunday. We're trying to do everything in order. There'll be weekly marks at 2, um, fiddling around, and then 5 o'clock there will be Star Trek: The Next Generation. John?
Yes, it is an episode called The Ensigns of Command.
Ooh.
And it is a good one. At least I like it very much. Um, and it has to do with Mr. Data trying to deal with irrational leaders of a human colony.
Ooh. Ooh. Indeed. Oh,
And
yes, this one's quite
That,
good. Yes, absolutely.
yeah, it's very good. Yeah.
It's quite good.
And it also involves a very pedantic pedantic and litigious alien race.
Yes, this is quite a good one. It is it has lots of conflict in it. Let's put it that way. People will enjoy it. I think it's dramatically interesting. And as they all are. But I mean, even the bombs are. But this one should be fine.
Yeah. Yes.
Uh, And let's see. And on Sunday, Lane, what's going to happen after Star Trek: The Next Generation?
well, I've become addicted to British folk because it's
All right.
autumn and it's all very and it's all
Indeed.
earthy, folksy type stuff. So I'm gonna do Pentangle this week.
Oh, oh,
Yes,
interesting.
good
That's
band.
yes. During the early era of progressive radio,
Mhm.
Pentangle was quite popular.
Yes, because well, they did sort of the British folk scene sort of merged into the for prog rock world. Yes.
Indeed, indeed.
Mm.
That should be fun. Okay, and that's our Sunday. Do we have anything else that we should mention for next week? I know that uh
Tuesday is the Palestine course, Rashid Khalidi's Palestine course at 6:30 to 8:30.
Eastern time. Yes.
There was a couple other things also that I've
I
spaced
think
on.
there I think there are
It'll be in the
two more
schedule.
sessions of this, two more
Mhm.
people's forum sessions on this. And
I
there
mean, it
is
would be easy
reading.
if anybody just goes to the schedule.
Indeed. Bloody hell. Come to our schedule, right?
Yes.
Theautonomouscollective.net. Yes, indeed.
Flash latest,
Latest.
latest. Always have the
Uh,
latest schedule at latest.
that looks nice, Joe.
Oh, isn't that cute? Look at
It
that,
is cute.
nice and smooth. Much smoother
Oh,
than the pate I made last week. But I had a
I think
heaping portion on here that did on my sourdough oat bread.
nice.
So we've got two mushroom winter chanterelle and hedgehog mushroom with moth beans and walnut pate.
Yum.
100% vegetarian, super simple to whip up. Spreads on bread, crackers can be used in pasta sauce. Cook your pasta really quick, then drain most of the water. Throw a couple tablespoons of that in. You've got a nice creamy pasta dish.
You,
Yum.
you
Mm.
forgot the key ingredient, Joe. and that's hunting for the fucking mushrooms.
Mung.
I mean, my
Well,
God, not everybody has access to Norwegian mushrooms. I would say it's
Mung.
only the Norwegians. I'm not sure they're a massive export.
I mean, they do tend to grow just about everywhere that
Well,
has moisture
yes,
in
yes.
certain seasons.
Well, you
Lane,
Oh,
I want to remind
you're
you that we're
expecting
trying to
you're
make
expecting our one viewer to go out and pick mushrooms to recreate this dish. Jesus, Joe. Sorry, John. I did.
uh,
I was carried away with the
are
flow
you
there.
talking? Are you talking practicalities?
Oh,
I don't follow you. I don't understand.
who knows at this point?
I think you might have to spell it out.
Indeed.
Sorry, John. You're
Well,
about to interrupt with some witticisms.
Yeah, I just wanted to remind you, Lane, that our viewer uh, is very sensitive about harsh language. So please
Oh
restrain
boy,
yourself.
Yeah,
indeed.
Carl.
family show.
Yeah. Heck yeah. All right, we're close
Yeah.
to the end.
Well, I did actually have a slideshow here somewhere about foraging these suckers, but I think I may
Oh,
have lost it.
action-packed, Joe.
Indeed.
So I think maybe I'll have to save it for next week when we
All
move on.
righty.
I guess.
That should be
Yeah,
fun.
yeah,
Okie
yeah.
dokie.
Let's do
Well,
it.
we're getting close to the end. We're going to try to
Yeah.
do better next darn week. And we hope you have a good week and a good weekend.
Mm.
Bye.
Doodles.
Oh.
You have to kill it on your end.
Sounds painful.
Ouch. Thank you.